4 weeks, you've been doing a lot of family weekend,
Family weekends, homecoming.
There's been a lot of weather issues.
Rich hanging out, forgetting things.
Getting rained on while you're
Getting
out there.
rained on, eating way too many quesadillas.
There's no homecoming people or families or rain in this studio. Not at the moment, anyway.
Is that good or bad? I had a good time for homecoming.
I like family, so family's
I had a good time for family weekend.
Well, you got some family in town, right?
We did last week.
Did he leave?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. He's still here. I forgot. Riggs is still here, so I do have family in town, although we haven't done anything because he's working on his project. He's like doing homework. I saw him this morning. I said, "Hey, bud, what are you doing?" He goes, I got to get busy doing my homework." I'm like, "Who are you and what did you do with my son?" I know
a good cadet.
Yes, I know that you've gone overseas and I know you've seen the world now, but man, you're more responsible than your father, which is a good thing, right?
I don't know, Rich. I think you've done a few projects the last few weeks as well.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, hey, welcome, everybody. Friday edition of the Rich Herrera Radio Show. My name is the aforementioned Rich Herrera. That is, of course, my trusty sidekick and really the guy that runs everything around here, J.W. Madden. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk a lot of college football as we get ready for Arizona to take on Utah. Normally on Fridays, we have Glenn Howell. Glenn is not available today, so pinch hitting for him is Roxy Bernstein. Normally, we talk to Roxy on Thursdays, but he was busy yesterday, so Roxy's going to fill in today for Glenn Howell coming up at 5 o'clock, and we'll run through the entire schedule of games in the Pac-12.
We should have reached out to Wesley and see if he could have come on.
Oh, I got to get Wesley to come on with Coach.
Right.
With Al Borges. Yeah. That's the one we got to do.
Yeah,
and by the way,
I heard you mention Al Borges when you had his interview this week that, Wesley was in that play, the play.
Yeah, how crazy is that? By the way, I got to take some vacation time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We'll be back on Thursday, and it's daylight saving. No, what do we call it?
We just call it another day here in Arizona.
Does it affect you?
I mean, I'm a native, so... funny thing, Rich, I lived here. I've lived in California. I've lived in Nevada. I also lived in Central Oregon. Central Oregon and Arizona, the two places that don't do time change.
Oh, they don't change it?
Yeah, no, they don't.
It used to be Indiana.
Indiana, I believe, still. I'm not sure about Indiana.
Can you look that up?
I will, yeah. But
look that up for me.
I grew up in a place where we were always either Pacific or Mountain, depending on what time of year it was. So it's pretty normal for me to not
Which do you like better?
I like it when it's not super dark in the mornings. I mean, I just like the general time change. So there's not a time. I'll tell you what I like. I mean, selfishly, as a native, I like the summers in Tucson. And that has nothing to do with time changes or anything. It just has to do with people.
I know. But would you rather have daylight in the morning or daylight at night?
I mean, I'm not a farmer, so it doesn't really matter to me what time the sun goes down. It's really weird to get up early, get up the same time that you normally do. I did cricket's traffic shifts for 5 or 6 years. And there would be days you got to be in here at 6 a.m., 6 to 9 to do the morning drive time. And I would get in here at 6 and it would be pitch dark until 7. And then sometimes you'd get in here at 6 and be bright as day. And that was over a very short period of time. So, I mean, I just don't like it when it's super dark at times of the morning when it should be. So I guess I like it when it's a little lighter at like 7 a.m.
See, I like it with all the sunshine in the afternoon after I get off work. Like yesterday, we got done with the show, and Riggs, I said, "Hey, what do you want to do for dinner? And do you want a barbecue or what do you want to do?" He goes, "Nah, it's too dark," which meant he didn't want to clean out the fire pit. So he said, "Let's go to Rose's." So we went to Rose's last night for dinner, but it's only like 6:30, 7 o'clock, but it felt like 9 because it was so dark.
Yeah.
So I like it better when I get home. Sun's still up when I light my barbecue.
It says here Indiana has used daylight savings time since 2006.
Okay, so they're back. They're like everybody else. They're lemmings. They go back and forth. So who's left? Just us? And who are we the only ones?
Oregon. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I know Oregon didn't for a long time.
Okay, so by the way, can I just throw this out for everybody? Just somebody explain this to me why Arizona doesn't have daylight savings time.
Oregon, like several other states, has signed permanent daylight savings time legislation. So, yeah, they're permanently on.
So they're permanently
daylight
savings.
Right.
So what are we?
Same. We don't change.
No, we're Mountain Standard Time, right?
Well, no, we're sometimes. Well, yeah. Sometimes we're on Mountain, sometimes we're on Pacific, based
Right,
on
but
whether.
but our time is Mountain Standard Time,
Right.
and it just depends on. So we don't do anything.
No.
Everybody else changes. We're just steady Eddie right there. We're the Rock of Gibraltar. I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if you do or not. Why is Arizona not gone with everybody else?
I don't actually know the origin of it either, honestly, Rich.
So if somebody knows, can you call in and tell me why? I'm sure there's a lot of smart people that listen to this show despite the host. If one of you could please explain to me why Arizona doesn't change time, I would deeply appreciate it. Because I know the first time, so when we lived here 20 years ago, and, there's always that thing, and you're a native here, so you don't know what this is like. You have to go by and change all the clocks in your house. So for me, when you got an iPhone, that changes automatically, and just about everything else changes automatically now, right? The one that would never change automatically would be your car. So for after daylight savings time, or after it goes back to standard time, for about 45 days, most people drive around with the wrong time in their car. So I remember when we moved here, daylight savings time came, and we went from Pacific to Mountain, and I was like, oh, I got to change the clock on my car, and I went to go change it, and I moved it back, and I was wrong for everything. I'm like, oh, we don't change. So it's just weird that when you first move here from somewhere else, that you want to change the time in your car, everything else, and you're like, no, wait a minute, we don't change. We stay the same. The only difference is, and help me if I'm wrong here, folks, is our television starts sooner.
Yeah.
And I watch so little network TV anymore. I watch more streaming and YouTube and anything else than I do of standard television. But I think Prime's time starts at 7 now, as opposed to 8, because we jumped to the other time zone.
Since we don't have the phones ringing off the hook for somebody to tell you, I do have the answer for you if you want it. It started in the early 1900s, 1918.
Right, I knew that.
And, the big push to come out west was air conditioning. So I believe that happened mid-60s. And so that's when
Folks, this is a history lesson you don't get anywhere else.
Phoenix, Tucson, Phoenix and Las Vegas has been the two fastest growing cities in America my whole lifetime. And I've had family in both towns. And Tucson is similar, but it has to do with air conditioning, and it just has to do with the fact that it was so hot and sunny, but it wasn't made official until 1968, and it was a year after Hawaii made it official that they would not change times either. It has to do with sunlight. So sunlight at 9 p.m., if they changed, then it would be bright as day at 9 p.m. is the logic behind it. So
daylight savings time I think it was created to help
farmers.
Was it help farmers?
That's
or
what I always heard.
I always thought it was to save energy, because the longer, if you have light in the afternoon or you have light at the end of the day, you don't turn your lights on as quickly.
I've heard there's a huge push in the last 10 years for them just to abolish
the whole thing
altogether, yeah.
Right, and just keep us with more sunlight in the afternoon as opposed to sunlight in the morning.
Yeah.
All right, if somebody understands any of that, I'd appreciate a history lesson today. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290.
My final point, Rich, is I've just always liked the simplicity of it. I mean, it's annoying when you have family and relatives in other states and you have to figure out what time it is there. I'll tell you this quick story. My significant other, Paige, she's from Arkansas, and her grandfather just could not comprehend daylight savings at all, could not comprehend that Arizona did not change. He didn't believe it was true that the time would be different based on what time of year it was.
Crazy Arizonans and your rock and roll music, you hippies.
Exactly. But growing up here, it's just always been that way.
Yeah, my dad would always get that wrong. When we lived in Florida, then when we lived here, he really couldn't get it. He's like, I have no idea what time to call you. Or, Dad, you can call me whenever you want. That's okay. All right, let's. So again, if somebody knows, please help me out with this. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Not that I don't appreciate JW's research into all of this, but I know there's somebody who has to know this better than the two of us. There's got to be somebody out there. So again, 520-848-1290, and then I'll tell you what's rattling around in my big old head. Do you have somebody that knows? All right. Oh, Chuck? All right, Chuck, line 1. Bear down, welcome. Why do I have daylight? Why don't I have daylight savings time in Arizona?
Simple reason. Heat.
Okay.
Heat. can you imagine right now in the summertime, it gets dark about 8:30. Can you imagine if we're on daylight saving time, it wouldn't get dark until between 9:30 and 9:45, and the heat would still be with us. At least now we can, expect to see the sun go down at 8:30.
Right, but it's not hot right now.
I didn't say now. I said you asked why, and that was the primary reason.
So
because in the summertime it gets too hot.
So summertime it gets too hot. So we want to be on Pacific time.
We don't want to be on daylight saving time. Let's put it that way.
We do not want to be on daylight saving time. Because
that's right. That's just.
Yeah, if we're on the normal system, it would be 2:11 right now, which means for the last 6 months it would have been an hour earlier.
Gotcha.
So that means that the sun would set an hour later. Yeah.
Chuck, this is all very confusing for me.
Why?
Because I don't comprehend any of this.
Chuck,
that's why I need your help.
Chuck, you have to understand that Rich spent a lot of his time in San Diego, and it's just 70 degrees there all the time. He doesn't understand the big swings between summer and winter heat.
So I don't want it to be. I want it to get. Okay, I don't understand. I literally, maybe I'm just dumb. I don't get it.
What's not to understand? I don't understand.
That's why I'm asking you.
You're pretty smart. You're a pretty smart guy.
Wait, I'm not, Chuck, I'm not goofing on you. I promise I'm not goofing on you. I have a complete vapor lock over this. So, middle of summer.
In the summertime.
Yes.
Yeah, you love to see another hour of daylight when it's 110 degrees outside? Is that what you want?
No.
Is that what you want?
No.
Exactly right.
So I want the sun to come down sooner.
In the summer.
That's right. Exactly right. You're exactly right. No sooner. Yes.
Right.
You want it to come down sooner.
Right, but the sun's coming down sooner now because we're going to jump to... Oh, no, because we're going to... Wait a minute. What are we doing here? I literally cannot figure this out.
If we were on the same system as the rest of the country, then it would be 2:13 p.m. right now. And this Sunday is when we would change time, right?
Oh. See, okay, so this is where I always mess up. I always figure out whatever I'm in now should be the standard, not the other way around. So as we go to we go to standard time, everything, we're going to move which way?
If we were on the system with the rest of the country, it would be 2:13 p.m. right now for
we're
us.
falling back. Okay, that's what Chuck, Chuck, don't laugh at me. I can't figure this out. I'm serious.
Rich, come on.
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm vapor locked on this.
Okay, I'll let you go then.
Right.
I can't help you. I can't help you.
Chuck, my wife says that to me all the time. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Chuck. I'm not, JW, I am not being dense. I'm just trying to figure this out. So right now, it is 3:14. Next week at this time, we'll fall back and it'll be 4:14. So I get less daylight at the end of my day. So because it's so stupid hot, I want the sun to go down sooner. I'd rather have the sun in the morning than at night. I guess that makes sense. Somebody much smarter than me is going to have to figure this out. Folks, I'm not playing dumb. I can't get my hands around this right now. I think I need a drink. Am I that dense today?
No, I think
this is promising to be a very riveting show.
Rich, math is a very complicated subject. It takes many years of study to get good at it. So adding and subtracting an hour, it's very confusing.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what's rattling around in my big old head just a second as soon as I figure this out.
We did have a gentleman just now call in who has an answer about the Midwest Indiana stuff, but he said he's driving. He's going to try to call back, so I don't want to spoil.
Okay, so we'll get him back on the program. So today, let's talk about daylight savings time because, and the one thing I don't like about daylight savings time, when we fall back or we move forward, well, they always do it at 2:05 after the bars close.
Right.
Like if you're going to spring forward or fall back, you should give me an extra hour to be out and party.
Well, do you want to be at a bar until 3 a.m. is the question.
Yes. Is that bad? Is that a bad answer?
I mean, you're asking a person who bartended on campus for many years and
No,
waited tables, so it's like
when we lived in Florida,
right.
The bar stayed open until 3 a.m. It was the weirdest thing in the world because nothing ever good comes from being out past midnight.
No.
Most of the stories, most of the bad stories I have start with, well, it was closing time at 1:30, and I decided to do this.
I think Rome started that. Like, no good decisions are made after 1 a.m. or something to that effect.
No. My dad used to tell me that all the time. Nothing good can come of this being out that late. All right, I'll tell you what's rattling around in my big old head. Somebody help explain to me daylight savings time. We'll do all of that. It's going to be an interesting show, I will tell you that, because I think at the end of the week, I am completely brain dead.
We're going to help you figure out how this daylight savings things works by the time we end at 6 p.m. today.
God willing, and if the creek don't rise, we'll continue with you. I am the completely flummoxed and confused host today. Thanks for listening. If you can help me out, 520-848-1290. I'll tell you what's rattling around in my big old head. And then we had a great interview this week. I want to replay for you with the great grandniece of Button Sam and all that coming up on 1290.
Rich Herrera, exclusively on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Some slowdowns for that eastbound I-10 Keno off-ramp, those slowdowns southbound on Campbell Keno as you approach Benson Highway. Maybe instead you could use 6th Avenue as an alternate route. No go on southbound Park Avenue approaching Benson Highway due to travel restrictions due to some water line work. And I'm Cricket with your...
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's a huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball.
Okay, people don't believe that I really cannot figure this whole daylight savings time out. They really can't believe it. So for us, Mountain Standard Time during the summer is the same as Pacific, and in the winter, it's the same as Mountain.
Correct.
Okay. Help me. I'm not playing dumb. This isn't a bit on the radio. I'm just trying to get this around wrap this around myself. But it's been such a long week here at the station because we're getting ready for basketball. In fact, I'm proofreading copy right now during the breaks for basketball. We've got football tomorrow. Got basketball Monday, basketball Thursday, football Saturday. It's like a busy time around here.
That's all well and good, Rich, but why in the 1800s did somebody decide that it'd be a good idea to push clocks forward or backwards? I think that's what people really want to know.
Is that when it started?
Early 1900s. We've had a couple callers call in. Caller David called in. He was driving as well. He couldn't get on.
Right.
But he mentioned that Ben Franklin suggested
Ben Franklin,
in the
I knew
1700s that they should change times due to wax, because everything was candlelight back then. This is when he was living in Paris at the time.
Okay.
The original guy who suggested it was actually from the UK in the early 1900s, and it was just about saving daylight because so much daylight. That's why, hence daylight savings.
But it became law, I thought, across the country during the Carter administration.
The very first was Germany was the first country in 1916.
By the way, this is not what the program was supposed to be about today, folks. I'll tell you that. But now I'm completely flummoxed. Pudge on line 3, help explain all this to me. Bear down. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Okay, Rich, can you hear me?
I have you, Pudge. Thank you for helping me.
Okay, you bet. Think of it this way: both Arizona. I was raised in Montana and spent quite a bit of time up there.
Okay,
I'm older than the hills. Arizona and Montana are in the same time zone.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to write this.
They're in the mountain time zone.
AZ, we're both mountain.
Right.
I'm making a little chart for myself. Okay.
Okay. Now, let's assume it's July 1st.
Okay.
Okay. So Arizona, when it's 6 o'clock p.m. in Arizona, it's 7 o'clock p.m. in Montana.
Right.
Okay, so typically what we do, let's say we both eat dinner at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, So if I'm in Montana, if I eat dinner at 6 o'clock, but the clocks are pushed up, I can run up to the lake 10 miles away and fish until 10 o'clock and it's still light.
Yes, you get extra.
Okay.
So during the summer, you get extra daylight.
Right. Well, you don't get extra, but because you've adjusted the time. I mean, you don't gain any time.
Right.
It's just you've moved the clock.
Right.
Okay, so it's still light till 10 o'clock. Okay, now think back to Arizona.
Yeah.
We don't move, so we still eat dinner at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, but it's 105 degrees out. So what we want to do is we want the sun to go down.
Yes.
So that we can either go play on lighted fields or sit on our patio when the sun isn't cooking us.
Correct.
Okay, so all it is a shift in Arizona in the summer. We want the sun to go down earlier than up north.
Yes.
Because it's a lot more enjoyable when the sun is down.
When the sun down, because it's so hot.
Also the advantage is it gets lighter in the morning. So if you're willing to get up at 5,
I can go do something.
The first 2 hours in the morning are fantastic, huh?
Okay. I understand that.
So all it is we're not saving time. We're not losing time. All we've done is shift the clocks so that our perception of when the sun is going down is changed.
Okay. So here's where I'm confused. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Montana, mountain daylight time.
Right.
What time is it going down?
In the summertime, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Because you're a little further north, so
Right.
you get that.
So at the same time, because I'm on Pacific time, now the sun is going down at 9 p.m.
No, don't even think about Pacific time. You're screwing yourself up.
Okay,
Just
see, that's
think
where I'm
of
messing myself up.
Yeah, quit thinking about Pacific time. Just say we're either on Mountain Standard or Mountain Daylight, and just do that.
Daylight. Okay,
And,
see, that's where I get confused, being a native Californian
and
I'm glad I don't live there.
And it's easy enough to think about Mountain Standard is the same as Pacific Daylight.
Right.
Because California is 1 hour behind us. It's really not that hard, Rich.
No, it's not. But because I kept throwing in Pacific, I think that's why I confused myself.
Right. Just think of standard. Just think of we want the sun to go down early in the middle of the summer.
So now,
so we can enjoy.
Now, when I move over to Mountain Standard, the sun's going to go down at 9 o'clock as opposed to 10 o'clock. That makes sense.
In Montana. Here we don't ever change.
Right.
So all we do now is the days get shorter because we're heading for the winter solstice.
Right.
And
okay, now I think I get it. I get it. We want the sun. We want the sun to go down sooner.
Right, in the summer.
In the summer, and the winter.
Now,
who cares? Because it's beautiful.
Actually, it would be better if this time of year we went actually lost an hour, so it would stay lighter in the evening, huh?
Yes.
And darker in the morning because it's so nice. All my granddaughters play softball, and it's getting dark before 7 now.
Like last night we went to Rose's. Right. It was so dark. I'm like, I feel like it's like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So we should have a campaign to switch back 1 hour, and so to stay lighter in the wintertime for us. The opposite of daylight savings time. It would be daylight losing time.
You know what, Pudge? I like that. So I like to try to give back and stuff. So one of the things I do is I'm the president of the Service Academy Parents Association. So I go and I meet with congressmen and senators and candidates. I might bring that up and get them to figure out this whole daylight savings time for me.
Okay, just tell them we need daylight losing time in the winter time, huh?
Somebody get me Governor Ducey.
Yes. And remember, when you're on daylight savings time, when you move the clock ahead, you don't lose an hour. All you do is move the clock
You're
ahead,
shifting.
and then you move it back, but you haven't lost or gained 1 minute.
Pudge, thank you.
Okay. Hey, you be good.
All right, take care. All right, I think I get it now. I was confused.
If you just think of Montana as it relates to Tucson instead of California, I think
Right.
you'll figure it all out.
I was thinking of my folks' house in Bakersfield.
The irony is that the original reasoning had to do with energy consumption initially, and yet because so many people have moved west and have air conditioning running all the time,
Right.
it's actually a question of whether or not you're wasting more energy from air conditioning than you would have from lighting, which was the original issue at hand.
I'll tell you this, though, compared from the south down here, I used my air conditioner a lot more in the south.
Sure. Well, you can do swamp coolers out here, too, because of the dry air.
Right, exactly. All right, now I have figured out, I have conquered Mountain Standard Time not moving.
There's going to be a test later, by the way, Rich.
I'm ready. But between our callers tonight, Pudge, thank you very much. I'm ready. All right. In case you missed it, earlier this week, we got a chance to sit down with John Button Salmon's great grandniece. Turns out they're family friends of mine. Didn't even know that she was Delta Gamma with one of my wife's my cousin. And they were sitting there having lunch. She took her to the airport, and she goes, "Oh, did you see my cousin Rich?" And she goes, "What are you talking about?" So she sent a picture to both of us and said, "Oh, yeah, he works down in Tucson." And I'd been trying to get a hold of the Salmon family to come on to talk about Button. We did this on Monday, but I wanted to play because I've gotten so many requests, so many people have commented, so many people have asked that we replay this. I'm going to do it a couple times for you today. So, we have an encore presentation of our exclusive conversation with the great grandniece of Button Salmon. That's coming up next here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show.